I was younger, I used to come down a lot, and it was really a lively place. But then it's sad seeing how it's getting emptier and emptier.
I try to get people to come down here, they refuse.
There's nothing for us to do, nothing for the youth to do.
That's actually one of the hardest challenges, is breaking that status quo and making the first step.
When the VCRC first started, one of the key issues that the Revitalization Committee identified was succession in Chinatown, realizing that most of the people who use or reside in the community are much older. The original Chinatown, it was young men who had come over, and this is where they lived. This is where, you know, wherever they worked, they would come here.
So you imagine a bunch of young men from the turn of the century turn up here, and then you start to get an idea, oh, that's why there are so many laundries, so many restaurants. Then Canada slapped the head tax in an effort to stop Chinese immigration. You know, for fear of loss of jobs, fear of different culture, fear of these different people who are coming in. So the folks who were here couldn't afford really to bring their families over. So it was very much a challenge, and they had to fight for everything. They had to fight for school, you know, fight for their culture. It was a lot. So it's Chinatown is a culture built on fighting for their rights and for their survival.
The museum was, you know, built particularly, you know, in order to preserve the history of the early Chinese immigrants. As you know, that we had gone through very difficult periods in the beginning because of the policy of Canada in discriminating against Asian immigrants. We are not just satisfied with the history, but we think life has to go on, and that's the part of the art gallery we built, you know, and the educational program is to add it on later on, as to continue on the tradition of the Chinese tradition, and as well as to cross-fertilize, you know, to let known to the mainstream that, you know, the Chinese contribution to Canada.
There's a few things that I want my participants to learn from my programs here. In particular, I want them to learn something about Chinese history and culture. One of the reasons that the garden exists is to be a bridge between cultures. I want people to learn that Chinatown is not a scary place. Chinatown has a little bit of a bad reputation in Vancouver, and it's not warranted. So a part of what I do in teaching people about Chinatown is to let them know it's actually a safe place, and it's a fun place to go into. We're so multicultural now, but differences can be scary. And it's important to recognize that scary doesn't mean bad. So it's a matter of how you approach it. So I'm trying to teach people about how to approach something that is completely new, a completely different culture in this case.
We should say this in a more critical way, but just not celebrate the superficial, say, oh, we're different, so we just accept the difference, but not break the border. Chinatown should reposition itself, not only say, oh, it's the largest Chinatown in Canada, but to find out what's the missing here.
I'm sure that if anyone has any interest, you just have to start looking and asking questions, and you'll find opportunities in this area in Chinatown. So there's a lot that goes on here with immigrants, with seniors, with low-income residents, with people, you know, people at risk. What's missing is young people to come in and say, we're going to take advantage of this opportunity and really try to do as much as we can to really make a statement for ourselves and make this our city.
I want Chinatown to be a genuine place. So I don't want Chinatown to be like a Chinese version of like a Disneyland.
There should be a special identity in this place, and it's not just for second generation or even just for Chinese heritage, but it's sort of, this is a culture that we identify with and we want to share it with other people.
Make it not only popular, but make it famous in a sense that it still lives up to its name, Chinatown. And there's something special we found there.